Well, hi guys and gals, it's me, George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. No, that's not me.
No, this is the big dog.
That's the big dog. And as you can see, we're out here working in the woodworking shop. And we're getting ready to call it quits for today. But we have been working on... So the big dog and I have been working on this cabinet for our church. This is a electronics cabinet for our sound system, and it's just in the early stages. We cut all the pieces out and routed all the side panels for the shelving units, and they've been put in and glued and clamped. And in the morning, it's late at night now, in the morning I'll come out and take the clamps off and start putting the face frames on. But I wanted to show you something that we had to do, and this is a little tip for you. The plywood that I bought and am using is called 3/4 inch plywood, and this is cabinet grade, and it is maple veneer. And you can see I have put maple banding on the front of the shelves. But my router bit for datoing for these shelf units is actually 3/4 of an inch and not a 1/16 of an inch less, which this plywood is. And so to take up that difference, I have used these little glazer's points that are normally used for holding glass in place until you do the compound, the glazing putty over it, and that takes up the difference here on the bottom side of the shelf where you're not going to see it, so that on the top side of the shelf, and let me move these out of the way, so on the top side of your shelf you have a nice tight fit like it is down in there. You can see the difference on this side, and then you come over to the other side and you see the difference over there, and see how nice and tight it is. It's a loose fit over here, taken up by that glazer's point, but then you come over here and you have a nice tight fit. And those glazer's points will not be seen because once I put my face frames on, they will cover over those gaps, so from the front you won't see those gaps up underneath there because it'll be buried back in underneath the face frame. And yeah, and plus you're going to be looking at it from this way, so all you'll see is the nice tight fit on the top. So I thought that would be helpful to somebody else who might be building a cabinet. And you'll notice I have a diagonal pipe clamp across the top. That's to keep it square. It's very important to have it square when you're building a cabinet. And you'll notice that I have the bottom shelf is recessed up from the bottom of the side panel, and the reason for that is that I'm going to be putting casters on the bottom so that it can be rolled around. And when I put these casters on, as you can see, only about half of the wheel will be below, and actually when I put the face frame around the bottom, it's going to be thicker, wider, not thicker but wider this way, and so they'll only be probably 1/4 of an inch of that dolly, that caster showing. And that's just so we can move the cabinet easily because we have carpeting in our sanctuary. So I hear that it is starting to rain outside, and I knew it was coming. So thanks for watching, commenting, and for subscribing. Until next time, this is George, the Shade Tree Fix-It Man. Bye for now.
And then there were 6. Look at them little guys and girls. Don't know which is which at this point. We had one that we kind of rescued the other day. I went out to the coop in the morning, and here was this little chap laying in the middle of the coop. Because when we let the chickens out of the coop in the morning to go out into the run, even the hen that is setting will run out to see what's special, because we usually bring out special food for them. And she was out, and this one was laying right in the middle of the coop, and his feathers were still wet and matted down, and I looked down at him, thought he was dead at first. I almost stepped on him because he blended in with the litter in the pen, and bent down, picked him up, and he was cold, but his eye kept blinking, so I knew he was still alive. We brought him in, we put him in a little small cardboard box in here, and put the heat lamp right down near him and warmed him up, and he got dried out, and so he's doing real well now. I think it's actually this little one right here, and this one is the newest one. And look at the difference in the size. They're about 7 days difference between the biggest one and the littlest one. And you can see his feathers are already developing pretty well. My wife said he flew across this tote from one side to the other. It's fun watching them grow and progress.